Hi, I'm Dan and I'm the principal technical artist here at Reforj, and today I'm going to take you through what I've been cooking up for Reforj. Today we have the Regal that I'm going to show you guys. I'll be more so focusing on the rigging side of stuff today and showing you what we do to our setup so that we can pass it over to the animator and start animating the creature. So I'll take you guys through on our setup from start to finish when it comes to the rigging side of stuff. The first thing I get given is the geometry of the Regal in this case. So normally the geometry would already have UV mapping done, texturing done, as final as it can be. The way that we set things up as well is that it makes it very easy for us to swap between different meshes if there's reiterations. That makes our process of re-rigging or re-skinning much smoother later down the road. So we get the geometry. All of these lines and the skeleton that you see, you don't normally get to see in game. These are more so the backbone of what makes animation run. So I always start off with like the one joint at the very center, and this allows us to control the direction and rotation and where the Regal would be flying around and such. And then after that, very similar to real life skeletons, like you have your pelvis, but in the case of the Regal, you have one in the center of the body. And the way we determine where each of the joints go is loosely based off of real life animals. Like if you look at a seagull, you would expect there to be a shoulder joint where the seagull's shoulder is. With Reforj, we have a very dedicated style, which is a faceted style. It's much more simplified shapes. So we don't need as many joints as like a very hyper-realistic model would need to. So we have quite a bit of freedom when it comes to placing where joints should go and play around with things until we get what we want. So once we have the skeleton, we then set up what is called controllers. And controllers are what our animators use to make animations. So I'll show you an example of one where we've animated the Regal flapping its wings. All of that animation data has been keyed on the controllers. You can manipulate the controllers by rotating them. And if you want to give it a more disjointed look, you can also translate them and also scale them up, scale them down. So we have all of these controls to be able to make something unique, make tons of animation just using these controllers. When the rig is ready to go, I normally would do a couple of tests, like very simple tests myself here and there to see like, does this feel good? Does this work well for me to pass on to the animators? We then would select the main joint, which also selects the rest of the joints that we have, and then the geometry. And then we will go to File, Game Exporter, and then we would export it to wherever the file needs to go to. And then this then gets passed on to the animator. That was mainly what we do for the technical side of stuff with rigging. So just a tiny little snippet of that. There are more complicated things that we've set up and done. But yeah, that was the Regal, and I hope you enjoyed it.